Alrighty, guys, we're back for Icy Control, and this is a Murders at Karlov Manor standard brew, and I'm Red Cat. Let's go over the deck, then hop right into some ranked. But first things first, this was a suggestion down in the comments. Thank you so much for the suggestion. It's gonna be a fun one. Rocking some new cards in here, like Lost in the Maze. This is an X and double blue enchantment with flash. That's going to be important. Now, when it enters the battlefield, you tap X target creatures. Put a stun counter on each of those creatures you don't control. Nice. Now it also has another ability on here. Tapped creatures you control have hexproof. Okay, nice. Yeah, a really neat little card. Only a one of for a reason though. I do think it's going to be pretty expensive all the time, right? So it's like 3 mana to tap down one creature. But if there's a wide board state, spending 6 mana to tap down 4 creatures could be really good, especially since we have ways to proliferate those stun counters in here, which we'll go over in just a second. I want to finish going over the rest of the new cards first. Rocking Out Cold as a 2 of. This is a 4 mana instant speed. This spell can't be countered, and it has a really important note here. This includes by the ward ability. I feel like at some point I knew that, but that's something that seems really easy to forget, right? I don't know. It's like one of those little nuances, but yeah, that's a really important note, huh? Anyways, the rest of the card reads, tap up to 2 target creatures and put a stun counter on each of them. Nice. Then also you get to investigate. So you get that little clue token too. That's going to be important because artifacts are going to be important for the next card. Rockin' Ezrim, Agency Chief, as a 2 of in here. Is a 5 mana, 5/5 legendary creature. Has flying, and when it enters the battlefield, you investigate twice. So you do get those clue tokens to use for this bottom ability. For 1 mana, sacrifice an artifact. Ezrim gains your choice of Vigilance, Lifelink, or Hexproof until end of turn. All 3 of those abilities are really important abilities. So I don't know which one you're going to be activating the most. Probably like Hexproof, just because of how much spot removals everywhere all the time, right? But the other 2 abilities, Vigilance and Lifelink, will come in handy all the time too. So this is actually one of our main finishers in the build, and I think it's going to be an excellent one, guys. Okay, what else is packed in here? We do have some early removal with Runic Shot. This is a 1 mana sorcery speed, unfortunately, but it does have kicker for a blue. Destroy target tapped creature. If the spell was kicked, you also get to scry too. That could be a really cheap way to remove something that's been stunned for a while, and they're about to untap. You just drop that Runic Shot on it real quick, or something that's on the board that you really just don't want to be on the board, even if it still has stun counters on it, like Shieldred, for example. The Runic Shot is going to be perfect for that. Some ways to proliferate with Experimental Augury. This is a 2 mana instant speed. Look at the top 3 cards of your library, put 1 of them into your hand, the rest on the bottom of your library in a random order, then you get that proliferate. It's just going to be excellent in here, guys. We have Lodestone Needle. This is a 2 mana artifact with flash. And when it enters the battlefield, tap up to 1 target artifact or creature and put 2 stun counters on it. Nice. 2 stun counters is much better than 1. Also has that craft with an artifact for 2 and a blue. I don't know how often that actually comes into play, but it's so cheap I feel like I should go over it. When you do craft it, it comes out as a Guidestone Compass. It's an artifact, of course, and you can pay 1, tap it. Target creature you control explores. Activate only as a sorcery. I kind of wish the flip side of this card was a little bit more powerful, or maybe like a little bit more suited for this style of build. Like, you know, like 1, tap it, and then put a stun counter on a creature. Like, that would be pretty cool, but that's fine, that's fine. Do you have other ways where like the proliferates will come in handy in here, like Tablet of Completion, and also the Filigree Sylex? So oil making an appearance today. Tablet of Completion is a 2 mana artifact. You can tap it to put an oil counter on it. You can tap it to add a colorless, activate only if Tablet of Completion has 2 or more oil counters on it. Okay, so ramp, that's good. Then also the bottom ability for 1 mana. Tap it, draw a card, activate only if Tablet of Completion has 5 or more oil counters on it. I gotta be real with you guys. I think it's gonna be really easy to put 5 oil counters on this. And when we've played with Tablet of Completion in the past, it has been excellent, dude. So yeah, I think it's gonna be a good one in here. As for the Filigree Sylex, it's a 2 mana legendary artifact. You can tap, put an oil counter on it. You can tap it, sacrifice the Sylex, destroy each non-land permanent with mana value equal to the number of oil counters on Filigree Sylex. Okay, nice. So if it doesn't have any oil counters on it, you can take out like tokens or something, right? So that's actually really neat. You got that bottom ability here too. You can tap it, remove 10 oil counters from among permanents you control, and sacrifice the Filigree Sylex. It deals 10 damage to any target, so potentially another way to help wrap up the game if we are getting a lot of oil counters on our tablets of completion and everything. And then rocking all the proliferate effects too. You just like never know, huh? Okay, guys, what else do we got packed in here? Let's go over the 3 mana spot. Ichormoon Gauntlet. This is a 3 mana artifact planeswalkers you control have 0 proliferate or -12 take an extra turn after this one, which honestly might not be too difficult to get to the -12 in here. It probably will be, but you never know with proliferate effects, right? Especially if you have multiple planeswalkers on the board at the same time and you're just dropping that proliferate effect on all of them. But then also the Gauntlet has another ability here. Whenever you cast a non-creature spell, choose a counter on target permanent. It doesn't have to be a permanent you control. You can totally choose a stun counter on like an opponent's creature, right? And then you put an additional counter of that kind on that permanent. Nice, dude. It's a like so many just really cool cards packed in, huh? We do have a couple counter spells in here, unfortunately, right? Now, this is a Reject Imperfection. This is a 3 mana instant speed counter target spell. Nice. Okay. But if that spell was mana value 3 or less, proliferate. Very nice. Okay. So like overall, I tend to struggle to play with counter spells. I never know like when to hold them in hand, when to hold open the mana and stuff. But in a deck that also has a whole bunch of things flashing out, just like holding everything open should make the decision a little bit easier. And this could totally be your counterspell of choice. Maybe you want some Make Disappears in here, or the brand spanking new No More Lies, which happens to be a pretty good counterspell, huh? So honorable mentions for No More Lies for a good reason, right? But we're going to try out Reject Imperfection today. Okay, a bunch of terrific planeswalkers plugged in here. Wandering Emperor needs no introduction, huh? We got a couple of them. It's going to be really good. Got 3 Teferi who slows the sunset, which is just going to work with everything in the build, bro. This is a 4 mana, 4 loyalty legendary planeswalker. It's got that +1. Choose up to 1 target artifact, up to 1 target creature, and up to 1 target land. Untap the chosen permanents you control, tap the chosen permanents you don't control, and you get to gain 2 life. A little cherry on top there. Teferi who slows the sunset has done a lot for us in the past, man. It's also got this -2 where you look at the top 3 cards of your library, you put one of them into your hand and the rest on the bottom of your library in a random order, okay? Got this -7 that, again, in this build, I don't think it would be unheard of to get these ultimates by any means. So you get an emblem with untap all permanents you control during each opponent's untap step, and you draw a card during each opponent's draw step. That's pretty gross, dude. Oh my. All right, we have this Vivisurgeon's Insight. This is a 5 mana. That's the first time I've ever read that name, that card title, right? This is a 5 mana sorcery speed, unfortunately. But you get to draw 3 cards and you get to proliferate. So what's nice about having this in this deck in particular is even though it's sorcery speed, since you're getting that proliferate, the hope here is you already have your opponent's creatures tapped down with stun counters anyways. So you just take your turn, restock your hand, put more stun counters on them so they don't untap on your opponent's turn. So you didn't need any instant speed things is the hope there, right? So only a 1-of for a reason though, pretty expensive and the sorcery speed. Also rocking Teferi Temporal Pilgrim as a potential another win condition. Those spirits go a long way. More ways to draw more cards is always good too. Just an excellent planeswalker, dude. And then the Eternal Wanderer chilling here on the top end is the only board wipe of the build. Wait, did I go over the Eternal Wanderer already? I think my brain is tricking itself right now because I had stuff to say about the Wandering Emperor. We have, or the Eternal Wanderer, I mean. This is a +1 ability that works really well with like the Lodestone Needle. Since this has that ETB, you can blink the needle in and get more stun counters that way. But then also the bottom ability here with that -4 for each player, you choose a creature that player controls. Each player sacrifices all creatures they control not chosen this way. So it's a really great board wipe that gets around indestructible, gets around hexproof, of course, but also lets you keep your key creatures like the Agency Chief and stuff on the board too. So that's all going to be very important. The mana base, guys, I thought about for a bit. We do have all the dual land, of course, all 4 Restless Anchorage. Generating those map tokens is going to be pretty important for the Ezrim as well. And what I mean by I thought about it for a little bit, we do have a couple Field of Ruins in here as well, because I do think a build like this is going to be in danger from our opponent's Restless Lands, right? We also have a Blast Zone over here. It could be really easy to get extra tokens on this with the Proliferate. And we also have a Mirrex here too, because it might not be a bad thing to get some poison into the opponent's face while we are dropping that Proliferate. Maybe the Mirrex tokens ends up being one of the win conditions as well. Then, of course, Soaring City, Seat of the Empire, leaning towards the blue mana because that's what the deck is leaning towards. A bunch of honorable mentions we're going to go over as fast as possible here. Deduce. I still don't know if this is a good card or not. I can't tell. Let me know in the comments. Freeze in Place is definitely one to consider. It is sorcery, but you do get a lot from this. 3 stun counters on a creature, and you get to scry 2 as well. Actually seems relatively decent, huh? This could be another way to get the poison ball rolling before starting to proliferate. The prologue of Phyrexis. Then we also have the Serum Snare if you want more tempo in the build. A Stall for Time almost made the cut. Mesmerizing Dose almost made the cut. And then there's a whole bunch of other like planeswalkers that are just so terrific in these Azorius colors that really could do the thing. Elspeth, Jace, Tezzeret all almost made the cut. Wicked Slumber could be a trade out for Out Cold. I actually think Out Cold's going to be a little bit better for this particular build. And Drannith Ruins must have been in the original suggested deck list. I'm not 100% certain what this is doing. Let me know in the comments if you know what the Ruins is doing in here. Okay, guys, enough rambling, huh? Let's go ahead, take it into some ranked and see how we do. All right, we'll see if we can get right into that first game. In the meantime, what am I expecting from the build? I actually think it's going to be pretty good, man. I don't know. Sometimes you get a vibe from a list and you're like, oh, wow, there's some pretty janky cards packed in. Is it actually going to work? And I don't know. I get this vibe. I think it's actually going to work quite well. All right, we go first. This is a good hand, right? We keep this. Start with our Restless Anchorage. Oh dear. Good thing we went first, huh? Scamp. We don't get to see Scamp too often. No reason to keep the tablet open here. I'm just going to tap that on our turn instead of like slowing down the opponent's turn. Oh, okay. The Gruul version. Okay. Okay, that's why the Scamp's in there. So the Gruul, what do we call this? Gruul Picnic Ruiner or something like that is super duper explosive, guys. Okay. So Tablet of Completion isn't ramping us just yet. I'm going to put a stop at the opponent's main phase so we can flash down the Lodestone Needle. We're going to Runic Shot, probably the Swift Spear here. This is sorcery, so we want to do this on our turn. The Scamp could be a problem, but I mean, both of these are a problem, right? I think it's Swift Spear and then tap down the Scamp. Okay, and again, I don't want to hold up the opponent with the Tablet of Completion. There's going to be moments where holding that open is going to be good, but that's only after it actually counts as the ramp that we want it to be, or extra card draw or whatever. Yeah, I put a stop here because you obviously want to tap it down before they get a chance to attack with it, right? That would be awful. Okay, Scamp number 2. Okay. Well, hasty creature. All right. Asked to combat is a no-go. Let's go ahead, tap down that main Scamp, as this could easily be like an open Monstrous Rage. Or it's a green mana too, so it could be like a Giant Growth. It's going to be Audacity, actually. Okay, luckily we will have the Wandering Emperor to go ahead and exile that Scamp. At that point, we've controlled really nicely so far. So I guess we just put an extra oil counter on Tablet and then have Wandering Emperor open for their turn, right? Totally fine. But I will keep the Tablet open. The Exile's definitely coming down on the Cacophony Scamp. Ancestral Anger. Yep, they wanna spread this out. They don't want to put all their eggs onto the Scamp, even though that would be a lot of damage. They know we probably have removal here. Is the big thing. Still have 2 open. Ah, they don't want to play in to the Wandering Emperor, guys. If we take the 3. Okay. 2. Okay. Well, first of all, I'm going to put an oil counter on this instead of letting the auto tapper do that. And instead of like going through each mana over here, so we could exile the Etching, or since it's a 3-2, we could take a little bit of damage. If we go 2-2, they might waste some of their like giant growths and stuff. I'm going to say we try our dandiest to get them to waste some of the cards in their hand. And then at that point, we're just going to hope that we have a little bit more. There's giant growth number 1. They do protect the Etching, and we do take a chunk of damage. Kamano number 2. Yeah, we need to see... Oh, Kamano hits the Wandering Emperor, so we don't get the exile, actually. Oh. So if we would have went -2, we would have lost the Wandering Emperor that turn. It's very important to think about. We would have gained 2 life, and we wouldn't have taken extra damage, though. We're not to the point of drawing on the tablet yet. Wandering Emperor most likely dies next turn no matter what. So it's going to be Mirrex, I suppose. I don't mind the other Tablet of Completion. Restless Anchorage is available. Yeah, this is going to die regardless. We could put a counter on the Restless Anchorage, though. My apologies, opponent. I'm thinking, buddy. Counter on the... We won't have a blocker then. If we need an emergency blocker. Okay. So Emperor's out of the equation regardless. Let's get that 2-2. We keep you open. I'm not gonna play the second tablet, and that's that. I'd rather just get more oil counters onto the first tablet to get us closer to drawing. The audacity on the Scamp is super scary, man. We could easily die this turn without having any other kinds of removal. Oh, man, that's going to gain haste too, huh? Oh, buddy. That's a 5-4 for 3 mana. Oh, yeah, they full swing. Heck yeah, dude. We should block with this Restless Anchorage. And then at that point, if we take out Scamp, 1 gets through, 4 more gets through, 5 gets through. Are we like dead? We're going down to 6. We're going down to 1 this turn. Yeah, they hit 4 to face. We lose all of our creatures. All of them are exiled too. Ew. They get to replenish with Audacity. Yeah, this version of Gruul looks so cool, doesn't it, guys? Oh, they found a land. Oh. Well, thank goodness that wasn't a Kamano, huh? That would have been it. Experimental Augury. Okay, so if we play our land, we proliferate, draw. On the tablet, we proliferate. Oh, more land. Oh, Seat of the Empire, though. That totally could have been a thing. Totally could have done the thing, huh? So, Gauntlet. So, I guess it would be like Seat of the Empire, right? And then we proliferate onto the Tablet of Completion. And then we can draw on the Tablet of Completion now, which is actually just really cool, huh? Runic Shot is actually really good, man. All right. But yeah, no, I feel like, had we seen... Yeah, good game, by the way, opponent. I think they dropped the GGs already. I think we might have had a chance to actually control that, guys. I mean, we would have needed to see a little bit of a different... I mean, the game would have had to been a little bit different overall, huh? But yeah, that version of Gruul, super explosive, super cool. Fun to watch pop off, actually. You know what I mean? Actually, a little surprising that we don't see that version of Gruul more often, right? What we're seeing a lot of right now is actually the Boros Go Wide, which is a very scary deck. But it's interesting to me that we have so many great explosive options, but we really only see one side of it. Watch, I'm saying this, and now we're only going to run into the Gruul deck, right? Losing that Wandering Emperor, I wonder if there's a better path forward for the Wandering Emperor, right? Maybe the game didn't have to be completely different. Maybe if I would have just played it out a little bit differently. Uh-oh, guys, it's doing that thing where we're actually just not loading into the game. Yeah, I'll restart the game here real quick, and then we'll get back in and see if the opponent shows up too. Okay, unfortunately, neither of us were able to show up to the match, so it gave us a draw. I'm going to go ahead, pause the recording here. I'm going to relaunch the game just in case, relaunch the deck tracker too, and I'll be back in a second. Okay, hopefully that fixes everything, and hopefully we could get right into that next game, huh? Because, you know, control matches can often take a long while, especially depending on what you're going up against. All right, opponent, what you bringing to the table, buddy? Okay, the hands have been decent, huh? Don't mind this hand at all. Like, the Lost in the Maze in that last match would have actually been really good, huh? A little bit of a different order in that last game, and I think we could have gotten there. All right, let me give this a shot. I just, I can't find anything particularly wrong with this hand. I mean, we don't have any Planeswalkers right now, but, like, overall. I will also play my tapped land. Oh, mirror match. I doubt it would be like a perfect mirror, but you guys know what I mean. Okay, let's get that Tablet of Completion, or attempt to get the Tablet of Completion, right? That would be a worthwhile counter for them, I would say. As Tablet of Completion, especially if this is a control matchup, like that can generate some end game value every turn for us, so. Oh, it might not be control. I was gonna say, like, it could be Azorius soldiers, so like Resolute Reinforcements. They opt for a little bit of tempo, Soul Partition onto the Tablet of Completion. I would say that's a worthwhile hit for them, honestly. Making it 4 mana, first of all, just means, like, when are we actually going to want to play that out, you know? Okay, Field of Ruin. I guess getting our Mirrex down wouldn't be a bad thing either. It's just going to be Field of Ruin for now. See if the Gauntlet gets countered. It indeed gets countered, no more lies. I'm actually not too upset about that, right? Any amount of counterspells coming out of their hand now means it's less likely when Ezrim comes down, which is definitely the card we want to get down. Although it still gets picked up by board wipes quite effectively, so it really depends. Memory Deluge on their turn. Huh. Didn't they already played a land, right? So it's not them searching for a land. Oh, we're tapped out. That's why. Yeah, dude. Yeah, we know that we don't have too many counter spells. But they don't. So I see. They figure while we're tapped out, they should get that card draw in. Okay. I mean, same concept. While they're tapped out, we go for that Teferi, right? And at that point, the plus isn't doing too much for us, so we might as well get something out of this Teferi. So we'll go for the -2 for now. See what we see. Okay, put one of them into your hand, the rest at the bottom of your library in a random order. I don't mind the blue source, and there's not a whole lot that we're tapping down and putting stun counters on anyway, so we might as well grab that blue source while we can. That's our double blue. That's all the mana we need. Oh, no, it's not. Yeah, no, it's not. The Ezrim's super greedy with its mana cost. We might have to go Field of Ruin. Well, that's not something I was expecting. Yeah, Teferi's out of this equation. I thought we were going to keep that Teferi around for a second. That's a problem. I guess Runic Shot, at least it's tapped, right? One or more dragons you control deal a combat damage to a player or battle. Look at the top 3 cards of your library. Okay, so luckily, then you can return it to him. Luckily, they hit a Planeswalker, so that means it's sticking around, so we can go Runic Shot. And I'm not going to go for the Scry, because I'm going to get that Tablet of Completion down while we can, too. Get the oil rolling. I'm sure we'll eventually have the mana required for the Ezrim. Oh, is that their only red source? We should pop that. Well, then they just grab a mountain. Unless they don't have any mountains in there. That's possible. That's probably what I go for the hit, right? And then I'll grab like another white source, or a blue source actually. Would make more sense, especially for our hand. Hey, Teferi. What you doing over there, buddy? You're supposed to be on our side. What's going on? All right, guys, buckle up. Control versus control. Easily gonna be a 2-hour game. I hope not, right? I wanna be able to showcase as much of the deck as possible, but honestly, sometimes in the longer matches, we end up showcasing the deck the best, you know? Okay, a little bit of mana. Field of Ruin onto the Storm-Carved Coast could be risky. They might just pull a mountain out and then we just effectively did nothing. If we get Ezrim down for the turn, we do have 1 mana open and an artifact, but well, we'll have the clues as well. What are the odds of a Make Disappear in the build that has no more lies? Actually, I don't know if Make Disappear exists in these builds. I'm going for it. Let's do this, man. It lands. Very nice, dude. Very nice. So that hexproof is really going to come in handy. So the big thing here is just like running into a Sunfall or something. It'd be a 5 mana card for a 5 mana card though, so I guess all in all, a Sunfall isn't too bad. That's their second white source, so it could be a Sunfall. The triple Mirrex seems relatively unlucky for the opponent, right? Yeah, spot removal not working effectively on Ezrim is so good for us. Well, they could double down on spot removal too. Since we only have 1 open, sacrifice a clue, and then on the stack of Ezrim getting the hexproof, they just put more spot removal on top. That would be good for them if they had a way to restock their hand, which I guess would be like Memory Deluge, right? Sunfall. Well, have an oil counter. Tablet. Ezrim number 1 is exiled. We still have a second Ezrim and a whole bunch of Planeswalkers packed in, so I guess they were trying to figure out, like, is it going to be worthwhile to use our Sunfall for this one creature? And I agree with the opponent here. The answer is yes. I think that's a beast of a creature to keep on the board. So they could power up Incubator. They're going to go for the untap here, gain a little bit of life. They have 3 mana open still. You know what didn't make the honorable mentions, but I should have had it in the honorable mentions, guys? Celestis. Yeah, artifacts like that work so well into fairy decks, and then Celestis happens to just be terrific. Jace, okay. Well, with Jace coming down, Might be a faster match than I was expecting, depending on how many Jaces they have left in their hand. Or how many they plan on top decking here, right? Okay, out cold. Yeah, going the mirror match not looking terrific here when we don't have creatures to worry about. They are tapped out though, but both of their planeswalkers are above the Restless Anchorage range. Realistically, we want to save the Field of Ruin for their Restless Anchorage when it comes time. We could start with a clue. See what we draw. Some land. Okay. Okay. Restless Anchorage. We technically have enough open for Lodestone, but what we're probably going to end up doing... Or we could use the second clue, too. Oh, geez, guys. I don't even know which one to swing at, since neither of them are dying. So, Lodestone Needle is open, or we just tap the Tablet of Completion for oil. Either way, we can decide on the opponent's turn. Unless we also wanted to do the map token on that turn onto the Restless Anchorage, right? In which case, then none of this would be open. Except for the oil counter on Tablet of Completion, actually. Okay, Memory Deluge, full power. Too bad we don't have a Make Disappear in here, huh? Yeah, too bad the Lodestone Needle wasn't one. I restocked their hand quite effectively. They got that plus on Teferi. If they still had a 1-mana thing, they could do that. Either way, they still want to do plus on Teferi, gain a couple. Even if they don't have a 1-mana thing to do. And they also could have attempted to tap down Tablet, but then obviously we would have just tapped it. Or I guess, yeah, they could have tapped down one of our artifacts, but it didn't really matter. Again, we could draw off the clue, but I think just getting more counters on the Tablet of Completion is going to be a little bit better here. They also go plus on the Jace as well. Just getting it ready for the -X, I suppose. All right, oil counter. Eternal Wanderer. Okay. Now that's interesting. That's interesting. It's finally a way to generate things onto this board. And while they're tapped out, this is definitely what we end up doing, right? So same concept. We have clue open, we have oil counter open, or we have Lodestone Needle open. So then we end up passing it back here. Yeah, both of their planeswalkers are an issue, right? They have a little bit more of an engine than we do right now. Temporary lockdown. Okay, that does get rid of our 2/2, but, you know, it doesn't... Oh, it gets rid of all the things, so I should have used the clue token. Guys, oopsie daisies. I'm 1 card behind now from a misplay. Well, technically 3 cards behind the opponent, but I could have drawn off the clue. Temporary lockdown was really, really bad for us. Losing the tablet was really bad. As long as we get to keep Eternal Wanderer, though, I think we're technically still in this. I think the second they find an answer... This was an incredible top deck for us, guys. And we drew it at the exact moment we needed to. When they were tapped out. Okay, Restless Anchorage. Yep, so we don't get to tap that down because they got rid of our ramp with the Tablet of Completion. That's brutal, man. That's brutal stuff. Oh, you know what they might think this is? Like an Elspeth Smite or something? They might. They go for the swing anyways. I think that's a good call, opponent. Even if you are running into an Elspeth Smite, I'd say that's worthwhile. So what did we end up losing here? Wandering Emperor? That would have been good. Was that... Oh no, that was our second Ezrim too. Oh no, that was a great turn for the opponent, man. was really, really good. Okay, a few things, right? We got to take care of the Restless Anchorage first. Still got 4 cards. With that mill, we got to get the ball rolling, guys. We really do. If I wait until they power it up, that might actually be a little better, huh? Yeah. Yo, I guess we wait till they power it up. And both of their planeswalkers still chilling. Still chilling over there, and they're very happy to be chilling over there. The +1 on Jace just takes our samurai out of the equation. Yeah, the big thing here is when they power up Restless Anchorage, we want to hit it. Okay, that's a -1/2 double strike samurai. They end up doing anything else fancy. Well, let's see what happens. Because out cold could be pretty good. It can't be countered, so... Memory Deluge, yep. Restock your hand a little bit. They still have their Restless Anchorage. Again, the big thing here is if we get to keep the Eternal Wanderer, which I think I keep calling the Wandering Emperor. Same thing. Sunset Revelry. Are they not going to power up this Restless Anchorage right now? Crap. They're not. They're totally not. All right, let's use the Field of Ruin then. Because if they don't have an instant speed thing, like if they're planning on doing a sorcery speed thing with this Restless Anchorage, like a second Sunset Revelry for some reason, which I really doubt it would be a second Sunset Revelry. Yeah, by taking that out now, totally fine, right? The value is starting to lean towards the opponent tremendously here. See, we have enough of everything. I'm just gonna grab that, and so they get that untapped source from that too. Revelry comes down, doesn't gain them any life because we haven't been able to put any pressure onto their face. Everything's come down on time for the opponent, I would say. I'm not 100% convinced that missing that draw off of the clue would have leaned this in our direction either way, so not when we're struggling pretty hard here.
Don't worry, it's only a little mischief.
Wait a minute, I did hit the Restless... Oh, they have 2 Restless Anchorages. I didn't even notice that, guys. When did they end up playing that? Wandering Emperor. Okay. Okay, that is, in fact, a full engine over there now. They go ahead, generate a Samurai. Maybe it's like Lost in the Maze for the turn. That seems fun. X is 3. Auto pay's totally fine here. All right. We actually have some targets to hit. Very nice. Now, unfortunately, because Jace made our double strike obsolete, we're going to have to go for... We go Anchorage. How do I want to do this? I mean, we know we want another double strike, right? Restless Anchorage. Take out Jace. Wandering Emperor. Everything's a problem over there. You know what I mean? Because if Jace goes up to 3, and then they are still able to deal with our samurais effectively. Alright, I guess it's Jace, but like, Wandering Emperor would also be a really, really good target. I was just double checking to make sure I wasn't missing something there, like a way to buff our samurai and swing with it, but we still have Mirrex open, and we have everything else open here too, so if they power up Restless Anchorage, we'll go out cold. It can't be countered, so that's pretty good. And 2. We'll still have 4, so we should do this now. I'm going to plug that onto the Restless Anchorage. Lodestone, yep, we don't need that. All right, let's pass it back. All right, let's see what happens here, guys. We're kind of doing a thing, right? I think so. I don't know exactly what... Like, we need to get rid of their planeswalkers. We know that. Zergo. Okay, that's probably what we tap down, but then their Restless powers up. Oh, it has hexproof when it comes down for the turn, guys. That's really, really bad. So that takes out the Eternal Wanderer, and now it's going to heavily be leaning towards the opponent, right? Because hexproof, player or permanent with hexproof can't be the target of spells or abilities the opponent controls. This includes ward ability. Yeah, I was just double checking that hexproof doesn't count ward abilities, right? Right? Yeah, ward abilities are different than hexproof. I hope. It's those little nuance things, man. Now I'm concerned about it, but I'm pretty sure hexproof does not count as countering the card. Okay. Yeah, nothing can hit that hexproof. That's pretty brutal stuff, man. Losing the Eternal Wanderer could be it. But if we still have a chance to hit these planeswalkers, then there's still like a small possibility, a small sliver of hope, huh? And they also chose not to power up the Restless Anchorage too, so... Runic Shot does take care of the Zergo if they don't have something for it. Something fancy. They go for the untap, yep. They're up to 28. I can't imagine a way through, guys. Should we get into... Should we get into the next one?
Guards, to me.
So for the turn... Oh, now that that's not tapped, by the way, the Runic Shot won't be able to take care of it. So I think we're going to just go Mirrex and do some tapping on our turn and then try to take out their planeswalkers. Experimental Augury. That's not bad. Well, now the stun counters are gone on the tokens, though. Crap. Last turn, that would have been pretty good, huh? So if we start with Lodestone Needle, see if they counter it. I think saving the out cold... Like, if we go out cold and it can't be countered and we tap the Zergo, and then we go Runic Shot, like, you guys know what I mean? Like, I want to actually destroy the Zergo is the thing. Well, do I? Maybe we actually do just go for the tapping down of the Samurai and then the out cold on the Zergo. Can't be countered. 1, 2... We put a stun counter on you again. Right now we have Augury open for the Proliferate, so we don't have to use the Runic Shot. Okay. That's interesting. Now the Proliferate might not get through. We want to do it before it's their turn, too. Either way, we're going to be starting with the swings here. So we're going to go you. That's 5. Come on. Come on. Let these creatures hit. Oh, we get the hexproof on all those because of the Lost in the Maze. Guys, I think we just removed their planeswalkers. If they wanted to remove any of these, they wanted to do it before. So I suppose it could be Wandering Emperor number 2. Oh, Restless Anchorage. Yeah. Yeah, no, that's... Yeah. So they block the 1/1 to keep the Teferi. Yep, because they don't want to lose the Anchorage by any means. At that point, is there anything we could see on the Experimental Augury? For 1 mana? I don't think so. No, our only 1 mana card is the Runic Shot. Ooh, Wandering Emperor. Reject Imperfection actually would have been pretty good this game. We won't have mana open for it, and I want a way to establish more on the board here too. Also proliferating the counter on the Restless Anchorage. Guys, this might be the last match of the evening. Oh no. Oh no. Okay, Teferi down to 1. We do have Runic Shot open if we want to take care of one of these, but I don't think we do right now. There might be something better to hit. I'm not sure what it is, but there might be something, there might be a moment where we want to kick this instead, right? So we definitely have a lot of mana. So none of those untap next time either. They do have Restless Anchorage. They do have, oh, Teferi untaps, guys. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know exactly what I was thinking there, but they could go plus on Teferi, swing that way. Looks like they decide not to. Yeah, Teferi, who slows the sunset, is actually just kind of terrible for us, huh? We go for that full swing. And now at this point, I suppose they end up untapping. They could untap Restless Anchorage and then untap a land and then have a whole bunch of mana open. Because that would be the creature, and then they would choose a land too. But yeah, they technically could have got the Zergo through too.
Don't worry.
At that point, Runic Shot is going to be pretty good for us. And then we're probably going to scry with it too. They're going to use that map token. They're down to 32 cards. We have 25 cards because their Jace milled us pretty good. Both of our Eternal Wanderers is gone, which is pretty bad. They're going all out with the Memory Deluge. Guys, I know a lot of you said that you enjoy the longer games. So, hey, here we are, longer game, huh? Teferi's finally gonna die. Holy cow, dude. Actually, we just like skip the Teferi, go all into face. It would not be, like, it would be a pretty good swing. Like Wandering Emperor buff one of these, that's 10, and then another 4 getting through with Restless Anchorage, right? But we probably start with the draw because the proliferate happens. Something like that, probably. 1, 2, 3. Proliferate. Okay. Restless Anchorage number 2 is good. Filigree Sylex. Okay. Filigree Sylex is actually really good. Holy cow. That's actually really good, isn't it? We should do that while they don't have too much. We're going to lose our tokens too, though, if we do that. Crap, guys. I wasn't thinking about that. Either way, I want to take out... Either way, I want to be able to... My apologies, opponent. I am going to scry here as well. Tablet of Completion. I'm going to keep on top, actually. I don't know if we're going to need to get the 10 through on the Filigree Sylex is the big thing here. Wandering Emperor not open. These don't untap just yet. If we swing at you, swing at face, Teferi's finally off this board state, guys. And now the big question comes, do we end up using this Filigree Sylex when it comes time to remove all their tokens? Or do we try to get Filigree Sylex up to 3? No. That's only a Tablet of Completion under there. Ah, so many tough decisions, guys. Send help. Filigree Sylex has that ability. Sacrifice, destroy each non-land permanent. So like if they power up Restless Anchorage, it doesn't work that way for us, you know what I mean? So yeah, so we technically could have had a pretty good swing to face if I didn't play Sylex. Sunfall. Wow. Do we want them to get that incubate? I mean, I guess it's fine. Like, we could pop the Filigree Sylex to kill all the creatures, all the tokens. But it's the same concept to take care of the incubator, too. So maybe we have a different way to take care of the incubator. Oh no, Jace number 2, guys. Oh no. In the honorable mentions, we had Jace, and actually... this is a perfect match to showcase why at least like a 1 of Jace could be pretty good in here when we are struggling that hard to actually push damage through. Like, we have a lot of win conditions in here, but when you're up against control, maybe the main win condition should just be mill. And so a Jace or 2 could go that extra mile. And they're going for it too. So it could be another Jace. We only have 6 cards remaining, guys. Okay. At that point, I can't imagine getting through. We still have a pretty solid swing with this Restless Anchorage, which I think I'm just going to do and not worry about anything else here, huh? We could even, I mean, maybe Teferi comes down, but this is a solid swing. We'll start with that, right? The opponent's deck looks super brutal. We have been coming up against a lot of different blue-white control builds. With their splash of red in here for their dragon, that's actually really terrifying, dude. Really scary stuff. See if this ends up getting countered here. It lands, actually. Okay, I'm down.
I've always got time to fight evil.
We still have 2 open for the clue if we want to draw, but I'm thinking we're going to get milled out here. They power up the 6/6. I suppose same concept with our Filigree Sylex, although we'll lose our 2/2 now. Even if we take out their 6/6. Oh man, another one. Is that their 3rd one? Dude, this is totally a Zurgo and Ujutai deck. Oh man, I wonder if they end up full swinging at face here, actually. They might just like, I mean... Okay, there they go. And then they can bounce the Zurgo back to hand. I don't know. I don't know, guys. Maybe it shouldn't be the Filigree Sylex to take care of their 6/6. We would have been losing the 2/2 either way, but at least the 6/6 will be off the board. We lose the map tokens, but so do they. We lost a clue too, which I should have activated first. But also, it's not a bad thing to not draw when you have 5 cards. When you have 5 cards remaining in the deck, right? This is one of those games, maybe I really should have mulliganed, but at the same time, there was like a small sliver of hope throughout this match, so I hope you guys still ended up enjoying it at least a little bit, huh? I mean, look at this. Look at this turn, bro. If they don't have removal for these, like, this is actually really good. Actually, oh, the hexproof on this. That's right. That's right. I was going to say, actually, maybe we should keep the Wandering Emperor open, but yeah, I don't know, dude. There's like a small sliver of hope throughout this whole thing. Wait a minute. Oh, no. Wait, yeah, no, I wouldn't have had it. I don't have enough white sources on the board to activate both these Restless Anchorages and play the Wandering Emperor. Yeah, if they want to pop one of these, they want to do it before the swing because we'll get hexproof. This Lost in the Maze was actually really sick. So a couple map tokens, and it's actually better to just not activate either of those because we need as many cards in the deck as possible. But technically speaking, I mean, 2 more swings with our Restless, huh? I'm tempted. We have 4 cards remaining. If we need 2 more swings, we can effectively see 2 more cards off the top. Okay, let's just go for 1 map token. Dude. Oh crap, it is going to be a land too. Okay, all right, I shouldn't push it any further. Oh. We're at the bottom, guys. We now know everything left in the deck. Well, they have 26 cards remaining. We have 3, and they are the 3 that we put to the bottom on our own. Oh, Reject Imperfection would be perfect for this Zurgo. Go for the power up. Oh, man. Oh, man. Yeah, see, throughout the match, see, I lost a little bit of efficiency throughout the game too, so I do wonder if this could have gone either way. I don't think so. I think based on the opponent's deck, this Zurgo and Ujutai was an absolute menace, dude, and an excellent addition for the opponent. So if we are able to swing for 7 and counter the Zurgo, because I'm assuming they bounce this back to hand. If we can counter the Zurgo Maybe drop Wandering Emperor on Restless Anchorage. I don't know, guys. I don't know, but like I'm still at the edge of my seat for some reason. Like it's still kind of like I have to be the only one thinking this, right? Oh no, Lightning Helix. Oh no. Well, that's it then. Right? At this point, though, we might as well play it out because this is going to have to be the last game of the evening, unfortunately, guys. I go for the token on the Restless Anchorage. Oh, yeah, dude. I could have played this one so much better. I don't even know where in today's video you actually want to blame the deck. I actually just don't think you do. Right? I think overall I could have played it out a little bit better. Yeah, really, really great draw here. Unfortunately, going down to 1... I mean, that's got to be it, right? And them going back up to 17 as well. Do you have enough mana? 1, 2. Why are you using all those extra white sources? Can I choose what to pay here? We want blue, white, colorless. Power up the Anchorage. Oh, we can't use the wastes to deal damage until we gain the life from the Wandering Emperor. I see, I see. So we need the white on the Deserted Beach and the white on the second Anchorage here too. For the Wandering Emperor. We can't hit the Zergo, so that's what the counter spell's for. Okay, swinging for 5. It's funny, man. It looks like Restless Anchorage is safe again for the turn. See, we were able to plug so much damage through. Like somewhere in this match, we had to lose efficiency somewhere. Then the opponent's stuff really ended up lining up really nicely too. When they needed it, they had it type of thing. Which a lot of control build. Oh, No More Lies is on top of their build, guys. So we need the 3 mana open to pay for the No More Lies or the Reject Imperfection. Wait, we might actually have it. Oh, Lightning Helix. Opponent, you're breaking my heart, buddy. You're breaking my heart. So now the Zergo comes down. A lot of great ways to ramp up the game in the opponent's build. I actually just really like and appreciate their deck right now. Jeskai is really fun too, so they let the counter go through. Now they can successfully swing in with Zergo or the Might. Actually, if they don't swing in with Zergo, guys, Wandering Emperor still gets countered because we only have 2. Actually, never mind. The Zergo getting hexproof is so good. Also, it's not just Zergo. It's Zergo and Ojutai. That's important for some people. I'm still going for that exile on that Restless Anchorage. Yeah, the 2 Lightning Helixes to our face. Actually, if they didn't have it, would we still be in this? No, because we only have 2 cards remaining. Both of them are land. Good game, opponent. We only got 2 games in, guys. There was a middle match in there that was a draw because we didn't actually play it. Both of them were a loss. I think this deck is more than capable of winning, though, just based on the feel of it and everything. That ended up being a 37-minute game too, so I apologize for that, guys. Should we concede, or do you guys also feel that sliver of hope in the back? I mean, sometimes we get there. We just went through a 40-minute game like 2 weeks ago. It was a 40-minute match where we actually got the damage through. Are they worthwhile? They end up being really hard. We get to the end of it and my brain is just like melting away. It's just like so hard to keep consistent plays when you get that far into the game, you know what I mean? So I don't know. I guess it really depends. Let me know in the comments for sure. What's your preference? And I always get different responses on preferences, but you know, sometimes I try to balance that out based on which responses I get the most too. So guys, here's the deck list again, almost an hour in. Actually, wouldn't change too much here. I think that obviously more testing is required, and the deck is obviously more suited to actually go up against creature builds too. And So, since most of the video today was just up against a fellow control player, that was actually really, that was, it had to have been favored for the opponent, right? Because we're specifically suited to put stun counters and lock down creatures and stuff, right? And then since it was like kind of sort of a little mirror match, they also had Teferi, which was actually just a nightmare for us. And they actually ended up gaining so much life off of their Teferi and actually just gaining so much life throughout that game anyways. Really put them in a great position overall. So if you are seeing a lot of control, consider that Jace, maybe a one of. I don't know what you would go up or what you would go down. Outside of that, you're seeing a lot of creature builds. I think this deck should be suited enough to handle it at least a little bit, even if it is leaning on the janky side of control, right? Actually really like Ezrim. Like their only option would have been a board wipe. They did drop that Sunfall right on time, unfortunately. If we kept Ezrim on the board for 1 or 2 turns, I think that maybe would have been ours as well. And as far as my misplays and my my efficiency, my inefficiency, right, in that last game, I don't think it would have mattered too much, unfortunately. I think we would have just, if I was more efficient with my draws, I think we would have just been decked out anyways, so. Guys, hey, if you made it this far into the video for real, y'all are champions. I super duper appreciate you. Make sure you check out that description where we got that Discord link as well as that Patreon link if you're interested in supporting the channel that way. Alrighty, guys, so I'll see you in the next video.